Hello and welcome to Friday's bonus edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm going to be attempting to do just that for you by solving live today's Times Cryptic crossword, which is this one. I will have a go at the quick cryptic afterwards if there's time, and I will do the second puzzle at pace and the first one with sort of detailed commentary as to what my brain is thinking at the time. Oh, have I got my dictionary? I do. Okay, I've got my dictionary, so we're all good to go. Now, Friday is normally the hardest puzzle of the week. I did have a look at the snitch earlier, and it was slightly harder than average today, but not monstrously hard. So we'll have a look at the stats and see what we can see. Well, that's John McCabe in there with a 4-minute time. That's a real time by a real person. Some of these others at the top are typists, but Andy Fisher is real, 6 minutes 30. So there's a couple of good times. But it's interesting, isn't it? There's a big gap from 7 minutes to sort of 10 minutes where there's nothing. So clearly something's going on. Let's have a look. Jason James in at 12 minute 56. That is all we need to know that this is a very hard puzzle, because Jason is a brilliant solver. I don't think Jason has won the Times Crossword Championship, but that almost seems ridiculous if you've ever seen him solve. I think the first Times Crossword Championship I ever went to, I sat next to Jason James, and I thought, oh, I'm not a bad solver, I won't be dreadful. And he was sitting next to me, and he just flew through the puzzles. He was the quickest in the room, and I remember thinking, what on earth I just witnessed? He's a very brilliant man. Anyway, that's by the by. Reminiscing about old times. Goodness knows how many years ago that was. Anyway, let's get cracking. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. Two other things I forgot to mention. We have a Patreon site, which is like our puzzle club, basically. And there are bonus videos there in the crossword space. So Mark does the Times Club Monthly Special in a video over there, and there's also his connections videos where he does that New York Times puzzle. It's a bit like the Only Connect wall. If you've not done that, you should do it, by the way. It's a lot of fun. He records his episodes of doing that, so that's over on Patreon. But also, we live streamed this week, and normally wouldn't mention this, except that the game we did this week was sort of a word-based game. It was like a dungeon crawler where you have to guess words. There's a lot of sort of Hangman-esque type features to it, so some of you might enjoy it. It's called Crypt Master. I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen so you can have a quick look at the recording and see if it might be up your street. Anyway, let's get cracking with this and see how we go. Where is the internet working? Yes. Okay, one across. Almost overlook. A model given wrong part. Oh, goodness me. That strikes me as just a very difficult clue. Let me explain why. Cryptic crossword clues, as I've said before, they very often work like mathematical equations, where the answer you're trying to get to is going to be equal to some of the other parts of the clue. So the definition, there's always a straight definition in all these clues, is normally either at the start or the end. So let's take a look at 5 across, which is a simpler clue. Fruit now delivered. The answer that we're going to enter in at 5 across will either be in the name of a fruit or it'll mean delivered. And there are very, very few exceptions to that rule. So let's go back to 1 across and try and work out which side of this clue is the definition. Almost overlook. Well, it could be a word that means almost, but I don't know many words that mean almost, that are 7 letters anyway. And look at the other side of the clue. Part or wrong part. Section maybe, or I'm not sure. I'm just not clear which side of the clue is the definition. If I try and read the clue as a mathematical equation, almost overlook sounds almost all of a word that means overlook. But model given wrong part sounds like we need a word from model. If you model for someone, you sit for them. Given wrong part. Okay. All right, now I'm thinking it might mean almost overlook, and I need a word for a model or to model, and that's going to be given an anagram of the word part, because if we treat the letters of the word part in a wrong way, we could anagram them. So if model was sit, can we somehow manipulate the letters to make something? No, I don't know. I could be on totally the wrong lines as well. Okay, I'm going to look. I'm actually going to look at that one, because as I was just scanning the clues, I think I can solve this one. Chap with knowledge of the borders. Now, I'm not sure about I'm not sure what I'm about to say is going to be the right answer, but I think the answer might be the name of a chap and a word that means knowledge in Scottish, in the borders, the border countries. So I think it might be Ken, which I know can mean knowledge. I think is a dialectic word, and Ken obviously is the name of a man. So I might put that in and have a look at one down. Devises, makes up, constitution. Yeah, your constitution is your make-up, isn't it? So if we put make up, and that involves society, well, society can be abbreviated to S. So makes up, I think, is going to be the right answer there. Now, I do this every week, but it bears repetition. Don't laugh at me. You can't just... Many people think that in cryptic crossword clues, oh, it's all silly, it's all abbreviations and you never know what can be abbreviated. That's true if you're starting out, but you can't just willy-nilly abbreviate any word in any clue to its initial. It has to be supported by the dictionary. So when I say society can be abbreviated to S, that means that if I put the letter S into my dictionary, and we go down a bit. Oh, there it is. There, literally listed under the sort of head word S is the word society. So now let's find another S. Solid. See the solid. Well, that solid there is not the letter S, because there is nowhere in the dictionary you will find S. Solid under that head word. It is not a valid abbreviation. So you have to build up your knowledge of things that are likely to be or could be abbreviations if you don't know all the abbreviations in the dictionary, and very few people do. Only saddos like me do. Anyway, let's have a look at one across. Almost overlook. Model given wrong part. Almost overlook. That sounds like almost, if you overlook something, you miss it, don't you? So almost overlook is most of the word miss. I quite like that. Model. So I need a 4-letter. A Model T. There's a Model T Ford. Part. Given wrong. A part is a... Or hang on, miscast. Yeah, it's cast, isn't it? If you're given the wrong part in a play, you're miscast. And if you model something, you cast it. Gosh, that's very difficult. But we've got it. I'm going to try 15 across. P at the start of a 4-letter word. Dismissive remark about instigator of Tory strategy. Okay. So again, this is a clue that where we can read it as a mathematical equation. Dismissive remark, so we need a synonym for a dismissive remark. About, so that's saying we need to think of a 3-letter word for a dismissive remark, and we're going to put that about around the outside of instigator of Tory. Well, if we think about that cryptically, what could that mean? The instigator of a word, the constructor is arguing, is its initial letter, the start of the word. So that's going to be the T of Tory. And given the T is very unlikely to be there, you now basically know you're looking for a 4-letter word that means strategy, that has this configuration. And there is only one thing I could think of that could be right, and that's path. And pa, if you said pa, that's Simon Anthony. Pa. That's been said before. Anyway, there we go. So path is going to be right there. Now let's have a look at this one. What's that going to be? Oh, moral. Okay, I can see immediately this is an anagram. And I don't know why. I just would encourage you, the more of these clues you read, the more you will become familiar with odd looking strings of letters. So when I see none sees to it in this clue, it just doesn't sit right to my eye. I don't have to know the length of the clue. I mean, it is 11 letters, and none sees to it. There are 11 letters there. Now we're about to get visited by Maverick, the local aeroplane pilot who likes to buzz past my window. Sorry about the aeroplane noise. But then, none sees to it. They're always in these clues. You can't just have a string of letters and no indication there's an anagram. The constructor must always tell you exactly what you have to do. So there must be an indication of an anagram. And the word here, unhappily, when letters are treated unhappily, they're sort of, they're not in the order they'd like to be. So none sees to it needs to be anagrammed. It means moralizing. And the answer is moralizing. I want it to be sanctimonious, but I don't think it is. There's no M. It is. What is it? It ends in eus, doesn't it? It's something like sententious or something. It's some weird word like that I don't actually know. Is there a word? Sententious? Could be. Could be. I'm not sure. I think that's got the right anagram fodder. Something like that. If something is sententious, is it moralizing? I think I'll put it in. I'm not allowed to look that up because that's not, that would be cheating if I look that up. I'm just sort of double checking I've got the right anagram fodder there. I think I have. So we'll put that in and hope, I think. And hopefully the checking letters will be justified by the crossings, and that will give us some confidence. Right, let's try 3 down. Bitter, acrid, about being thrown into truck. Bitter, about being thrown into truck. Oh goodness. I mean, I think this is going to be a word that means bitter. And then about being thrown. Well, there are short synonyms for about, or abbreviations. The most common one is circa, CA. That's thrown. Could that be a reversal in a down clue? I don't like that very much. And into a truck. Oh, Arctic. An articulated lorry might be a truck. Arctic. Yeah, okay. Bitter is not as in tasting bitter, but if something is bitterly cold. So Arctic is right, with Arctic for articulated truck and C for about being thrown into it. So interesting. So this is very much flavouring, isn't it? If we think about what the constructor is literally telling us to do here, we could have written this clue as bitter about in truck. Now obviously that makes no sense in English, so the constructor has to augment that basic structure in order to make an English sentence, because every clue must read as a sentence. And so being thrown into here is used as sort of a necessary grammatical construct instead of just the word in. Now, which one should we try? Should we try 4 down? The solid foundations of Cicero's speech. The solid foundations of Cicero's speech. Now, let me. I don't know what the answer to this is, so what I'm about to say might be nonsense. But when at the start I said there's always a definition in a clue, and it's almost always at the start or the end. One of the very few sort of moments where that statement is not true is in a clue in which the whole clue needs to be read and thought about cryptically. And often that's indicated by a question mark at the end of the clue. You see there's a question mark here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we have to read this whole sentence, the solid foundations of Cicero's speech, and think about that somehow cryptically. And don't ask me how, because I haven't got the answer yet. And I want it to be something Latin or something. I don't know. The solid foundations. I mean, what are we talking about? Sort of Platonic solids here. Oh goodness, sounds like an ambulance going past. We've got all of the vehicle noises today. Let's try 11 across. Writer's novel. That could be the novel She, which is a very common novel. Occurs in... oh, could it be Sheridan? Oh, it is. Okay. So I was thinking writer's novel. I was thinking She was by Rider Haggard, wasn't it? But anyway, I was thinking writer's novel was She. But then I realised that I could just... I mean, the word novel does... She is an example of novel. Was She the first novel, in fact? Oh, that might be total nonsense. I don't know why that's just popped into my head. That could be absolute rubbish. So, yeah, apologies if that's total nonsense. But I can now see why this... So the answer here is Sheridan, who was a writer. And we've got She for novel, reaching an all-time low. Well, an all-time low is a nadir. And if that's treated in retrospect, we reverse the word nadir. And that gives us the construction Sheridan. Oh, no. Oh, tabla... Oh, is this going to be tabla something? Tabla rosa, I've heard. Tabla... Oh, I don't know. I bet it's going to be Latin. And I never did Latin, and I have no clue. If that was a B, what's 10 across? A time to bow out gracefully. Look at the question mark again. So is this a cryptic definition? Time. Is that to bow out, or is it to bow out? I keep thinking of the word cabbage because I want to put this to be a B here, or cabaret hour or something, cocktail hour. No, time to bow out gracefully. I haven't got it anyway. We could have, well, let's try and get into the top right. Press refuse to turn up, or press refuse to turn up. If you press clothes, you iron them. Press. If you press someone, you urge them to do something. Refuse. Oh, I don't know actually. I don't know what that is. Let's try. Oh, we've got such dreadful checking letters here. I suppose we should look. Let's have a go. A drink for that damned woman. Again a question mark. Oh, it's Bloody Mary then? Okay. So it sort of is. I mean, this is it's not really a cryptic definition. It's a double definition. So the Bloody Mary is obviously the name of the drink. And that damned woman would be bloody in a sort of sweary sense. And then the woman's name is Mary. So that's a strange clue. Oh, so this is what is this then? I don't know. I'm never going to know what this Latin word is, I don't think. I mean, I would need to get 16 across. Let's have a go at this cold. One finding winter quarters abhorrent eye suspect. Okay, well, a hibernator I like as the answer to that. One finding winter quarters. That sounds like somebody who hibernates. And I can see that abhorrent eye, again, it just grates. It just tickles at my brain. And if those letters are treated in a suspect way. So I know, it's very easy to read I suspect as like, oh, I think that might be the case. But don't forget the word suspect can be treated as, or can be a word that means there's something suspicious about that string of letters. And indeed, there is. So, hibernate, or I think is what we're looking at. And that is a disaster. Because what is going on there then? I mean, that's films? The solid foundations. Oh, terra firma. There you go. At least that's a phrase I have heard. Terra firma, meaning the earth. Okay, and so it is a cryptic definition because what it's saying is what is the Latin word? Cicero, obviously, being a Roman orator. Richard Harris has got a new book out. Sorry, I was just thinking, what do I know about Cicero? And basically everything I know about Cicero was from the Robert Harris trilogy. Anyway, so the solid foundations, terra firma, is what we're after. So we don't need a B here. What we have instead is current something. Time to bow out gracefully. Oh, I don't know. Well, that's that. I feel that one is on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of what it is. Let's try 17 down. Supporter. An adherent might be a supporter. Strangely heartened, dropping an E. Well, I mean, once you have the thought adherent, hopefully you can see that there's an awful lot of commonality between the letters of the adherent and the letters of heartened. So how does the clue work? It's saying, if we treat the word heartened in a strange way, we might anagram it. And if we drop the E out, then I think the letters we're left with can be anagrammed to give us adherent. So, I mean, Bloody Mary and adherent are much easier than some of the stuff in the top left of the grid. Let's try the B here. 18 down. Worker in grounds is finally sent to stop horse rearing. That's a good clue. I don't know it yet. Worker in grounds, I think, might be the definition. Is finally. Well, if we treat is finally sent. It's probably the final letter of the word sent. And that stops. If you imagine, the word stop obviously means inside, in the sense that a cork might stop a bottle. You would put the cork into the mouth of the bottle, wouldn't it? So if we put the letter T into horse rearing, so we're doing R. Now there is a horse I can think of. There's just two horses I can think of that end in a B. Isn't a cob a type of horse, but also an Arab? Barista, a worker in grounds. That's beautiful. That is a really good clue. Yeah, okay, so we've lucked into the answer. Basically, it's Arab reversed for the horse rearing. And then we've got this is in the clue is important because it is this is in the answer. And finally sent is that T, the final letter of the word sent. And that stops, so that is and T are inside a reversal of Arab to give barista, worker in grounds. It's talking about coffee grounds, of course. Isn't that lovely? That's I really like that clue because the image it conjures up in your mind is so ludicrously different from the way that the answer works. The two couldn't be further apart. And I think that's always a really lovely thing about a good cryptic crossword clue, is it sort of makes you go, what? How can that be that? And yet it is. Is this roster? Oh, rosier, more optimistic probably. Chapter, leaving bishop staff. Well, a bishop staff I think is called a crozier. And chapter can be abbreviated to C. Let's confirm that. Perhaps a less surprising abbreviation than some of them. I mean, some of these ones, you won't see this, but the sum of $100, I mean, it's absolutely outrageous. Oh, I'm not finding it now. It is here. I've seen it before. It is, honestly. Oh, there it is. Chapter. There we go. So, and let's look up crozier as well, because why not? I don't mind looking things up if if I'm sure I know the answer. There we go. The pastoral staff or crook of a bishop or abbot. There we go. So we're on the right lines there. Let's try and get 26 down, because it would be so useful with the crossing ones. Life force, that's going to be chi, isn't it? Embodied by Achilles. Okay. I say this every week, but it bears repetition, probably. There is almost always one clue in every Times crossword, indeed in every cryptic crossword you see generally, which will be a hidden clue. And what does that mean? It means that the answer is literally spelled out in the clue. Often it can be backwards, but it needn't be. But don't forget what I said earlier. The constructor has to tell you if they've hidden the answer in the clue. They can't just hide an answer in a clue and then leave you to find it. They have to say it's in the clue. And the way that instruction, embodied by. So the idea here is within the word Achilles, you can see spelt out chi, life force, and therefore the sort of that life force is made bulkier. It's embodied by the whole word Achilles. So that's how the hidden is indicated in this clue. So is this secretarial or something? Or secretariat? Or I'm not sure, but it's something to do with secretary. Time, that can be abbreviated to T. If anyone's familiar with Newton's laws of motion, V equals U plus AT is one of them. S equals UT plus a half AT squared is another one. Can I remember any others? No, not immediately. But so T is time. A careerist. Again, strange letters. So my brain is thinking anagram. And the word wasted, well, if we treat T and A careerist in a drunken way, if they were wasted, literally drunk, we would anagram them. And that looks like it's 11 letters in total. So, and then that gives us the name of a support team. Oh, so it's not secretariat, is it? Because that would need... Oh, no, it is. That's two T's, because I've got a T, an extra T from time. So secretariat, I quite like. I mean, it's got two E's. It's got two A's. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Let's try this one. 28 across. Name of someone famous. 7 letters. Aristocrat or aristo? Name of someone famous. I haven't got this yet, as you can. Hang on. I really like the clue. I mean, I think it's literally going to be a name, and then when we think about the name cryptically, it's going to indicate somehow that. I don't know. Let's try 24. Outspoken old man in Paris is to marry. Well, okay. So this is a type of clue that I think are quite terrifying to new solvers of cryptic crosswords, but it's something you have to get used to. And that is the homophone. And if you see words like outspoken, Let me see if I can see another one. I'll just try and let me do a very quick trawl of the clues. Broadcaster, maybe. It might say, by the sounds of it, or we hear. What it's referring to there is something that sounds like a different word. So, outspoken old man in Paris. Can we think of the name for what's the name of a father in Paris? I literally in French. Well, it's père, isn't it? P-E-R-E. And when we say P-E-R-E, it sounds exactly the same as this word, pair. And if you pair something with something else, you marry it. You pair off, don't you? So I think the answer to this is pair, because it sounds like the word père, the French word for father. And yeah, I know that's probably it must sound like lunacy. But actually, the more you do these puzzles, the more familiar these sorts of clues become. And that is Alistair? No. What is this? Come on, Simon. Name of someone famous. Oh, well, that's brilliant. It is Alistair, isn't it? Spelt like that. That's brilliant. I love that. They're an A-lister. If you're an A-lister, you're definitely famous. And Alistair can be spelt like that. That's lovely. I'm surprised I haven't seen that clue before. But that I really like that. Right, let's try 14 down. Keeping back crowd around English journalists. Well, okay. I don't know what this is yet, but I have nearly got it. Because English is very, very often abbreviated to E in these puzzles. And then journalists. Well, can we think of short synonyms for the word journalists? What about press? The press. We'd mean the journalists, wouldn't we? And look at what we've got here. E blank P. So if I was to put press here, I've got most of the word written in now. Keeping back. Repressing? Is a crowd a ring? Probably. A ring of people, a crowd of people. Keeping back. I mean, it could be repression, but rian doesn't mean anything. Keeping back. There's no suppression. No. You have to be a bit careful with clues like this in case there's an alternative answer that we're not thinking of. I think that's probably right. Let's try this one. Escargot 23. No, it's not. Oh, it's going to be. I've seen this clue, or a version of this clue before. Fool twice by means of offer. If you haven't seen this clue before, you're going to really like the answer, because what I really like actually about this clue is the word offer, which is, believe it or not, the definition. And I'm actually going to write in the answer. The answer is assassin. And if you're not used to cryptic crosswords, you will be absolutely incensed by this, because in what way does the word offer define an assassin? Well, if you off somebody, what do you do? If you're watching an American mafia show and they talked about offing one of their enemies, they would be talking about killing them. So an offer is an assassin in a cryptic crossword land, and that's why there's a question mark here. Because if you look in the dictionary under offer, you won't see at least I don't think you'll see the word assassin. An offer, no. But if we look under off, I think we will to kill, US slang. So although it's not listed, you can infer that an offer could be somebody who kills somebody. And how does the wordplay work? Well, fool, and ass is a fool. Put ass twice, you get ass, and by means of in. So assassin. It's very nice. If you've not seen it before, I think people will really like that. Let's try 29. Let's see if ring is right for what was our crowd. Irreverent icon having change of heart. Ooh. Ugh. I mean, you can immediately see how this clue works, or I can anyway. I think it's going to be a 7-letter word meaning irreverent. And it's also going to be a 7-letter word for an icon where the middle, the heart of the word, the 4th letter, this word letter, is changed. An icon is oh dear, I don't know actually. 7-letter synonyms for irreverent, impious, and things like that come to mind, but obviously they don't begin with G. 21 down. Left old rocker not feeling great, apparently. Left old rocker not feeling great, apparently. Left could be L. I mean, literally, as in right and left, L. So if it began with L, then an old rocker. Not feeling great. I don't know what that is. Let's try 19. Broadcaster's black Hummer heading west. Oh, is this Beeb? Yeah, okay. I thought this might be a homophone, but it isn't. That's. I mean, that's just the truth of it. Black is often abbreviated to B. I think that's from pencils. You might see an HB pencil. I think that stands for hard black. Let's have a look. HB, hard black. So B is black. A Hummer in the insect world is a bee, B-double-E. If that heads west, it reverses. So we get that. Beeb, and broadcaster being the BBC, Beeb being a sort of euphemism for auntie. Let's have a look at 20 down. Crazy Swinger. Crazy Swinger's game beginning anew. Banshee? There's a crazy swinger, a banshee, and how is that a game beginning anew? So I think we're looking for a name of a game here, with a new beginning letter, is how I read the clue, and it means a crazy swinger. I used to have a friend at school called Robert Tipping, and he I don't know why this has come to me, but he invented something called the goo bash, which was this way of defending himself from bullies. It wasn't the nicest school, where he would whirl his arms, so this arm would go there and then this arm would go there, and he would do it at an incredible pace as if he was trying to sort of fly, and it was called the goo bash, and he was a crazy swinger. Yeah. But I've got distracted. Crazy. Bonkers, if you're crazy. Oh, conkers. Swingers game. Okay, that's great. Lovely. Gosh. That takes me back to a time in my life when I used to play conkers as well. So, a swingers game. Hopefully everyone here has played conkers. If you haven't played conkers, this is the time of year to do it. Or if you're in the northern hemisphere, go out, find a conker, drill a hole in it, dip it in vinegar, tie it to a string, and then find a friend who wants to play with you and try and smash each other's conkers. So, swingers game is conkers, beginning anew, bonkers. If you're bonkers, you're mad. What's this then? Landless state creating resentment. Ire? Landless state. Yes, that is ire. So, resentment is ire. And the country Ireland, if it's treated landless, if it doesn't have the word land in it, it would just be the word ire, wouldn't it? So a landless state is ire, giving us the name for resentment. So let's have a look at 13 down. Street, right. Again, I've not looked at this clue in detail yet, but I think there's some sort of anagram in it. I don't know, because I just don't. The way the clue looks to me, just to my eye at a glance, it looks weird. So, street kid gets one punter riled. Well, I'm not sure, actually. Yeah, street kid is probably the definition. And gets one can be I. I do this, one does this, or Roman numerals. You can justify I being one in a variety of ways. But gets I punter. If those letters were riled, they would be anagrammed. And a street kid is going to then be... Oh, there's all sorts of weird words. What's that one I can never remember? Tatterdemalion or something. So, what is it? Street kid is a... Oh, I don't know now. Gutter snipe is the answer. Gutter snipe. Okay, that's... Oh, look though, we're not really getting great letters for our irreverent. Gutless? No. Irreverent isn't gutless, is it? Irreverent is sort of... an icon. A goddess. Godless. Godless is better. So, an icon is a goddess. And if with a change of heart, let's change that to an L, we get godless, and that's certainly irreverent. That's not that easy, I don't think. Let's try 21 down. Okay, so left old rocker, not feeling great, apparently. Wasted. If you're not feeling great, you'd be... left old rocker. Not feeling great, apparently. Wow. I mean, this is a slightly terrifying word, actually. It's just in the sense that there are so many words that fit this pattern. Left. Parted? Why? I like parted for left, but why is that an old rocker not feeling great? Not feeling great, apparently. I mean, this could be an awful... I mean, I'd be surprised if it didn't have a question mark. If it's something like Art Garfunkel in the word ped, because if you're... Oh, in bed. Ah, yeah, hang on, I like that much more. Right. So this is going to be... It's going to be this construction, because if you're in bed, you're not feeling great, are you? Apparently. I think that might be due a question mark. So, left. Left, so an old rocker. Oh. And this is the right idea. I just haven't had a right thought for this unchecked letter. Left. Batted? No. You can't define. That can't be a word, can it? Barted. I don't think it's a word. So I need a 3-letter old rocker. A blank T. Baited? No. Sorry, I bet you've all got this and you're like, what's wrong with his brain? I've never known that. I'm well aware there's something strange about it. Old rocker. I love in bed so much. I'm just unwilling to go down the route of changing that. that must be correct as a thought. It must be. So, left. Bafted? No. Banted? No. Adam and the Ants? No. An old rocker isn't an ant. Banted. Does that mean left? No. But you can, I don't know if you can see why this is. If you can't see the answer to this, it's not actually that obvious what the answer is. Basted? I mean, it's a word, but it doesn't mean left. Old rocker. My brain keeps going to Art Garfunkel, and that's just not right. I mean, I would say that Art Garfunkel wasn't necessarily a rock star as well. Old rocker. Is there some other sense that we could think of a rocker? A rocker could be like a rocking chair, presumably. A rocker not feeling great. Wow, I don't know. This is a very weird clue. I'm going to leave it and hope my subconscious deals with it while we're doing the other rest of the puzzle. Curse. Blight? Yeah. Put on British. Well, B can be British. And if you land your ship, you light somewhere. Slightly weird sense, but it's... let me show you. It's something that comes up quite a lot, actually, in puzzles. So to light is to... Let's see if we can find it. To dismount, to alight, to settle, to rest, to sort of, you know... So it's in that sense that you're landing. Right, shall we look at 5 down? Yeah, we looked at that. Let's try 6 down. Hierarchy, protecting liberal. Liberal can be L, so maybe that's that L there. Rank, getting one's back up. Riling? Hierarchy. Hierarchy, protecting liberal, getting one's back up. Yeah, okay. A hierarchy is the ranking, isn't it? And then protecting L for liberal gives rankling, and that is getting one's back up. If something rankles you, it annoys you. So what's this curtain call? I really like that. That's got to be the answer, hasn't it? Curtain call. The time to bow out gracefully. So, yeah. So the curtain call is obviously the time in a play when all the actors come out and they get clapped. But they would be bowing, wouldn't they, when they did that? So they would be bowing out gracefully from the play, so that at the time of the curtain call. So I think that's right. It's almost a straight definition, but it's such an unusual. It's referring to when you bow out gracefully when you sort of retire from a game or something, isn't it? Whereas, it is a lightly cryptical and witty way of describing a curtain call. Henry enthralled by Carmen, I see. Henry can be H from the unit of inductance. Enthralled by Carmen. Carmen of the AA. Oh, so it's a ha. Carmen, it's trying to refer you to sort of Carmen Burana or something, but it's much less sophisticated. It's people who look after your cars, and if you're watching this not in the UK, you might wonder what I'm talking about. Well, our breakdown services in the UK are the AA and the RAC are the only two I know, actually. I'm sure others are available. But so the AA are the carmen in a cryptic way. People who look after your car. Put H in the middle, they're enthralled by the AA, and if you say aha, you're really saying I see. So 8 down, satellite. Oh, well, Telstar or something. Terrific. Is it Telstar? Maybe it is just Telstar. Phone. If you telephone somebody, tel is an abbreviation for to phone. And if is terrific. Is star and terrific, are they synonymous? It was a star turn, yeah. If you said it was a star turn, you could say it was a terrific turn. So I think Telstar, I've heard of Telstar. I think it was an early satellite. I don't know if it's still a satellite, but that feels right, doesn't it? So what's this then? Fruit now delivered. So remember, oh, current. Yeah, oh my goodness, right. Okay, so, well, I was going to look for another homophone. I found one. I said that you might see by the sounds of it, or we hear. Well, if something is delivered, it's spoken. So if we hear a word for now, we might think of the word present or something. What about the word current? C-U-R-R-E-N-T. That would be, if something was current, it would be now, wouldn't it, in that sense? And that sounds, of course, identical to currant, which is a fruit. Now, one thing that's important here when you're dealing with a homophone clue, especially when it's the same number of letters, the constructor has to be extremely clear about which spelling is required for the answer. And here you can see it is extremely clear. The definition must be the first thing, because it's the word now that is being homophoned, if you like. Imagine the clue read fruit delivered now, which it could do. It would still mean a sentence, wouldn't it? But there would, absent this checking letter here, you then couldn't tell whether it was the fruit that was having to be homophoned or whether it was the word now that was having to be homophoned. So the constructor must always be clear about what we're hearing, if you like, what has to be spelt differently. So what's this then? Coax? Press if you coax somebody? Refuse to turn up. Refuse to turn up. Oh, now all I can do is think of the word coax, and that's just not, I don't think that's right. If you refuse to turn up, you... I don't know. Okay, let's just think of words that mean press that fit. Crab? A press is a cram, I suppose. Mark is a word. I don't think it meant refuse. Maybe it does mean refuse in some way. What else could be a crush? No. It's got to be 4 letters. I bet this is right. And mark has one of these weird well, I say weird meanings because I never think of mark, M-A-R-C. I know it means something. Golly, so this is a worry, 5 down, and this is a bigger worry because not feeling great, apparently. If you're in bed, you're not feeling great. That must be correct, Simon. So we need an old rocker left. You see, the word old could mean that this is an old word for left. I'm wondering if barted and parted are somehow synonymous, and then the rocker is defined as art, which would have to be a reference to Art Garfunkel. But again, actually maybe that's definitely wrong. Art Garfunkel is definitely still alive, and I don't somebody the other day said they've dropped the requirement in the Times that the only living person they were allowed to refer to was the reigning monarch. And I think that's true of the quick cryptic, but I didn't think it was true of the actual cryptic. Oh dear. Old rocker. I mean, you can't... If you're in bed, what else could you be in and you wouldn't be feeling great? In... I don't know. I mean, if I was racing, I would have thrown in an answer a long time ago here. I think I would go for cram, and I think at the moment I've got nothing better than barted, which I mean can't be right. Left old rocker. How long is the video so far? Yeah, see, we're getting up there. I don't like these videos to be too long. Banted would be the other one. An old rocker being an ant. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe bed is not the right thought, but if that's wrong, that's very mean. See, parted is a very... Left and parted are absolutely synonymous. Old rocker. I don't know. I think it's this letter. Obviously it's this letter. I still think it begins with B. I think it's going to be banted or barted left. I mean, let's just do one more quick dictionary trawl, then we're going to have to decide. Bafted. No. It's nonsense. H-I... Baited obviously is a word, but AIT is the name of an island. But that's not an old rocker, is it? But baited doesn't mean left. No. Bated breath, no. Old rocker. Alt? Bolted? No. Banted? No. Oh, well, that's the old rocker, Adam and the Ants. It cannot be a reference to Adam and the Ants, can it? Oh, I don't know. And then we've got Barted, which would be my Art Garfunkel reference. I mean, that's outrageous as well. I mean, if this is a reference to Art Garfunkel being an old rocker, it just everything in me says that's not right. Everything in me, apart from my understanding of the clue, you understand. WXYZ. I don't know. Right, I'm going to go for barted, I think, but I'm going to look it up in the dictionary before we enter it. No, see, it's not a word. Oh, unless to bart is bart is a word. But it's not a verbal word. It's an abbreviation for baronet. So barted is wrong. So is it banted? No. Bant. See under banting. It's a dialectic word, but it doesn't look like it's verbal. Oh, to diet. Dieted. Dieted, does that mean left? Not really. So, okay, so I think both of the thoughts I've had here are just wrong. I'm so sorry, I don't know. I was going to look up Mark as well. That's because I might maybe have two mistakes in this, which is appalling. grape skins and other refuse from Rhine winemaking. So Mark's right. So I think the rest of it's right, but this clue, I don't know what the answer is. Left old rocker. Not feeling great, apparently. If it's left, if it's L, then we need a word for an old rocker somehow, whatever that means, and the whole thing means not feeling great, apparently. I don't know. I suppose at least I'm now not thinking of words beginning with B. Ew. Don't like it. So, okay, what about parted then, which was the first thought we had? Old rocker. Not feeling great, apparently. An old rocker was a Ted, wasn't it? You get the mods and the rockers, wasn't it? I think my dad said he... Oh, I probably shouldn't... I'm probably going to... It's probably going to be pejorative if I talk of him in... Is Ted a hooligan, actually? I'm not sure. Maybe an old rocker. Left old rocker. Not feeling... I mean... Is it a par Ted? If you're only feeling... If you're feeling on par... You're just feeling okay. You're not feeling great. So is it par Ted? I mean, if that is the answer, in my view, that is outrageous. It's outrageous that doesn't have a question mark. Maybe that's right, though. A old rocker not feeling great is a par Ted. I go for that. I mean, we have to somehow finish the puzzle, don't we? That's correct. I mean, if that's the correct understanding of the clue, that's really difficult, in my opinion. Really hard indeed. And that might be explaining why so many of the good solvers took so long, because that is such a strange answer. And I think other answers, well, as you saw, other answers were available. What an interesting puzzle. I really liked Barista. I really liked talking you through Assassin. And I liked many other aspects of this, to be honest. I did not like 21 Down. Oh, sententious. I never looked it up. I just relied on my anagramming. Sententious. There it is. Full of meaning. Aphoristic. Abounding in maxims. He was abounding in maxims, that man. Tending to moralise. Sententious. Lovely. Anyway, let's have a quick go at the Times Quick crossword in an effort to redeem myself from that appalling performance on the cryptic. Let's go. Let's get cracking. Let's do this fast. Come on. Keep short and shape with hair. Fortress, I think, is the answer, but I'm not certain. Time in charge for charity event. I don't know. Father has beer and no, what's that? No head and fried food. Beer with no head. Fried food. I can't get it. Madness having north in middle of compass. Range. Go over a picture needing editing after office hours, perhaps. I have no clue. Dance with Samuel. With ball only half completed. Sam and bar is the answer there. Let's try 9 across. Style of column. Ionic, probably. Yep, nearly nice. Got together. Minaret. Yeah, that's Rani reversed with met outside it. Support the gutted. English, a T is a golfer's support. Fritter is going to be the answer there. Bitter without its head. After run, I try a strange, uncommon thing. Rarity. Is it? Yeah, it's an anagram after the initial bit. Catch a Romeo during play, dwelling on a heavenly body. Catch a Romeo during play. It's something like starbound, is it? Or I'm not sure. Something like that. Let's try 6 down. Reserve. Ship supporting energy. Weapon. Oh, that's some. I know what that is. I can't think of it. Entry. Sentry without its. Oh no, starbound is absolute nonsense. Good man, Joker. Not the first one. Getting you heated. No clue. Military construction. Engineers provided with misgivings. Don't know. Well, it's tricky. A doctorate written about one insect pest. A PhD around one would give aphid. Area united, an arrangement of Saladin. Is region once more. That is. Oh, come on, Simon. I know this. My brain's gone to mush. It's just an anagram. I can't see it. Obsessed with Aunt Edwina's shows. Haunted. Is a hidden. Let's try that one. Sedge. Information data. A tad reversed. A redoubt, probably, provided with misgivings. Andalusia or something is this? Andalusia. It could be, perhaps. It's probably got most of the right bits. Go over. Recapitulate. So what's this one then? Catch a Romeo during play. Oh, planetary then. That's probably right. Free of trouble on top of fell. Trouble. I don't know that. Have I looked at that one? Time in charge. Fate. Fee around T. Reserve. Ship. Supporting. Energy. Weapon. I keep thinking of cutlass, which isn't helping me. Reserve. Oh, come on, Simon. Silly boy. Let's try 16 down. Wind instrument, missing its second note. Make a new arrangement. Reorder, recorder. Yeah. Shout of disapproval from volume. Book without its end. Wash black articles. Articles are A and the. Distinguished, not the person who oversees these puzzles, not the ed. Kit, put on top of school. Cap. Oh, kit, put on top of school. Headgear? Is it headgear? It feels like it's right, doesn't it? Good man, saint, joker, stoker. Goodness me, somebody who gets... So is this earmark? Yes, if you reserve something, you earmark it. And then unrestrained feels right, doesn't it? So that's what I'm going to put in. I don't know. I think that will be 20th. Let's see. 18th. Not a terrible guess, but a terrible time. 5 minutes 32. Let's see if we've done any damage to the upper echelons of people. I always look for Tom Stubbs. I think Tom is a good solver, so I've managed to squeak by him there. But you can see some of the touch typists. John McCabe again. I mean, he is phenomenally fast at the moment. Times Crossword Championship coming up in just over a month, and yeah, it's going to be very interesting if John attends to see how he goes against the likes of Mark. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll forgive me for my issues with the old rocker, the Pa Ted. I didn't even look up Ted. Is that? I thought Ted was a hooligan, but a teddy boy. Okay, a teddy boy. Teddy boy. An unruly adolescent, so a bit hooligan. Originally in the 50s, with a dandyish style of dress, reminiscent of Edward VII's time. Okay, it doesn't really say rocker, does it? But anyway, what was all that about? Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.